My name is Jason Creel and you're watching A Lawn Care Life. Today I'm going to tell you about the recent book that I've just been through that has influenced the way that I am thinking about money in my lawn care business. Stay tuned. For me, I've started doing a lot of audiobooks. You know, believe it or not, I can read, but when I'm tired at the end of the day and I'm lay down in bed to read a book, a lot of times I don't last very long and I fall asleep. But I've found that if I listen to audiobooks while I'm driving, you know, from one job to the next, that I can actually consume books a lot faster. And I just personally like having somebody else read it as opposed to me reading it. You know, to each his own. But the book that I just got through actually listening to, and I finished the whole book in 2 days because it really captivated me, is a book that I want to tell you about today. One, just to see if it's something you'd be interested in. Two, I want to tell you some of the things I learned, because I think this book really has influenced how I'm going to start running my lawn care business. The book is called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. And his last name's spelled funny, so I would just Google the book if you want to do that. But I'll actually put a link in the description if you want to get it. And while I'm saying that, what I use is Audible from Amazon. If you hadn't used Audible before, basically you download the app on your phone or whatever and you just listen to it. And you can download the app and they give you 1 or 2 books for free. So that's, if you want to listen to the book, you can get it for free. You just click the link below and then that'll be one of your free books. And then you cancel if you want to and you still get to keep the book. Now, one of my all-time favorite business books is the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. But this particular book, he mentions Michael Gerber and the influence he's had on him as well. But let me just get to the gist of what the book is about. Profit First is the title. Okay, so what is he saying? Here's how a typical business operates, and I found this very relevant for lawn care business. What we do is we get all the money that comes in. That's your revenue. You subtract off whatever you need to operate the business, your expenses, and then what's left is what you pay yourself, the owner, or however you want to label it. It's basically the owner's income. He's making the point that actually your business is not making any profit. It's just you taking out what's left, and that goes to the owner after you pay everything. So he's recommending changing that equation. Hear me out on this. He says, if you take the money that comes in, your revenue, go ahead and subtract out the things that you need to take out. Taxes, the owner's salary, which in your case might be you, and profit. Yes, he's saying go ahead and take out the profit up front, hence the name Profit First. So he might start just with 1%. So let's say I've got $10,000 coming in a month. I take out 1%, $100, and put it in this account. So I've got $100 profit for that, month or whatever. Then he's saying the money that's left is what you have to actually operate the business on. He said we're doing it the opposite. We take out, we operate the business with all the expenses, and then we don't know if we actually made any money at the end or not. There's very little left at the end. He's saying go ahead and take out what you need to live off of, your salary, and make a profit. That shows you how much is left to operate the business. You say, well, what if that number is really small? Let's say you generate $100,000 in revenue this year. You paid yourself half of that, $50,000. You took out 15% for taxes, $15,000. You took out a little bit for profit. So let's say it left you with $30,000. You're thinking, well, I can't operate on $30,000 for a year. I mean, there's no way I can pay somebody to work with me, buy equipment, those sort of things. Then he's saying, basically, that is a huge red flag being waved that your business is not as healthy as you think it is. And he's able to explain this in a lot more detail, give a lot of examples, that sort of thing. And it's really got me thinking about my business on how I'm operating. And he says, when you're put in a position, this is what happens with lawn guys. You get in a bind and you think, okay, things are not going good, I'm not making enough money as I should. So what I do, you start working harder, doing different things and try to get out of that hole, but then you fall right back into the same habits that got you back into the hole. So he said, we've got to change the way fundamentally that we are thinking about our finances and the way we're operating the business. See, are there areas that we can cut expenses? If it's saying that we're only, have $30,000 to operate, then, the business is not doing that well, to be honest with you. I think, and he gave this point, he said, you know, he's with entrepreneurs all the time. He said, we'll get together, entrepreneurs, you talk to each other, and you say, okay, so how's business going this year? And you say, oh man, best year ever. You know, I just landed my best client of all time. And he said, then what happens is they get more comfortable around each other, and you realize that they're all basically lying. That a lot of them have no money, they're working themselves to death. And he really emphasizes that the problem is not you, the business owner. You know, and I thought about that in the lawn care business. The problem is not necessarily the business owner is like, I'm just gonna work harder. I mean, most lawn care business owners work really hard, and they're trying really hard. So it's like, well, if I just went from working 60 hours a week to 70 hours a week, then I could make it. You know, that's not the answer. Okay, you got to restructure the way you're doing business, try to become more efficient, cut down on your expenses, and let's see, are we actually making a profit in our business, or are we just working ourselves to death, and then when tax time comes around, there's nothing left at the end of the year. And I think that happens to a lot of lawn care business owners. We work, and you get in the end of the year, and there's not a whole lot left. And it shows that at the end of the day, yeah, our business is surviving, but it's not exactly doing great, okay? And so this has challenged me on how I'm gonna look at my business. I've actually taken some of the action steps, real practical, set up multiple bank accounts, and I'm gonna start, when I get money coming into my business, doing what he's recommended, taking out the profit first, okay? And he gives percentages based on the size of your business. So on a small business, he says, if let's say, again, to use the example, $100,000, he says 50% of your revenue should be the owner's salary. 5% is be profit, 15% for taxes, and some other numbers. And he explains, you know, how he got to those percentages and that sort of thing. And as your business grows, the percentages change. But I've actually set up the bank accounts and going to start doing that. So the book, and wrap it up, the book is basically teaching you how to budget what money comes into your business, how to quickly be able to evaluate at any time whether your business is actually doing well or not, and how to and it also is very motivating and challenges you to think about your business critically to see how can I improve it, instead of just saying, well, I'm just going to get more yards next year. If I could just get me a few more yards and start working more, and maybe work a little bit on Saturdays and do a little bit more work in the winter, then, you know, I think things will be better, you know. And that's not always the case. He said if your business is flawed, getting more customers just means you're doing more flawed work and more non-profitable work than, you know, if you've got basically I'm saying, it would be better to have a small profitable business than a large unprofitable business. So if you got flaws in your business, the idea is not grow bigger, it's fix the flaws and then grow, okay? So anyway, I recommend the book. If you want to get it, you can click the link in the description. I'll put a link both to the, you know, hard copy of the book and also the Audible version if you want to do like me and listen to it on audio. I got back in my truck, started thinking about that book again. Here's what happens with a lot of lawn care business owners. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to had an experience like this. They start off in lawn business, start growing, making money, you know, and then they hire somebody, and then they hire somebody else, and they end up, you know, with multiple employees, and then they shrink back down. And what do they say? I made more money when I was by myself with less headaches than when I was bigger. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the business overall, in my opinion, was not healthy enough to take on the growth. And that's stuff I'm learning from this book. Are we growing in our lawn care business just so that we can hire somebody else and buy another piece of equipment? And now look at me, I've got 5 mowers and 2 trucks and 3 trailers, you know, all this stuff. Or we get back to what the book just is, a refreshing reminder that I need to be focused on actually making profit, okay? Not just getting more equipment or hiring somebody else, or, you know, look how, and again, he talks about so many businesses want to focus on the top line and not the bottom line, on their finances. You know, how much revenue did I make? It doesn't matter if you made $1 million this year in revenue. You know, would you rather make $1 million and at the end of the, after it's all said and done, you ended up with $40,000, or you made, you know, $200,000 and you ended up with 100,000, and you know, at the end of the day, and that may not be feasible numbers. Just making the point, so many people are so focused on that top line. You know, we made $2 million this year. Well, no, you didn't. You might have brought in $2 million. What is your profit? And at the end of the day, does any other money number really matter that much? Overall, that has got to be the one we're focused on. And I'm glad, I don't know why, it's such common sense, but for some reason, I had gotten away from that myself. And I'm gonna go back and look at my business critically. How can I be more efficient? Is this purchase necessary to make me more profitable, or am I just buying something just to have another toy to play with? You know, so things like that, questions that this book has made me think about. I thought of something else about the book too. If you begin to view your business through the lens of profit, okay, not how many customers do you have, not how much revenue you're making, not how many trucks you have, not how many lawnmowers can you afford, but literally looking at it just through profit, then it helps you make those critical business decisions. Am I paying too much in employee salaries? Do I need this piece of equipment to make me more profitable? It doesn't mean not to buy expensive equipment. Maybe that piece of equipment makes you more profitable. Will a $10,000 mower make me more profitable than a $3,000 mower? Well, of course it's going to make you more, you know, revenue. It's faster. Will it actually make you profitable, more profitable? Well, most of the time, probably yes. So it's not saying always buy the cheaper mower. But, you know, would the 12,000 one make more than the 10,000 one? I'm not sure it would, you know, so, but I'm saying if you start looking at through profit, instead of just growth for growth's sake, what I don't want to become is a business that's generating $1 million a year and is up to my eyeballs in debt. You know, I've got all these trucks, all this equipment, all these employees, and I'm making payments on everything because I can't afford any of it. And if we have one bad month, I'm gonna be in big trouble. That's not what I'm going for, and I think that's the point the book really drives home. I'll end with a story that's unrelated, just to give you somewhat of the life of a YouTuber. So the other day, you know, we get a lot of comments on YouTube, and I try to respond to a lot of them, and I'm okay with constructive criticism. Believe me, there's a lot of things I could improve on, but I'm appreciative of the positive feedback. Well, sometimes people just get super harsh. So the other day I get a comment. I've got these 2 videos out there, and I just, you know, sometimes just thinking of what to do a video about. I did a video testing what is a homemade weed killer recipe, basically where you take vinegar, salt, dish soap, and you mix it together and spray, and it, you know, kills the weeds, that sort of thing. Well, I did a video about that. You know, this has been a couple years ago, and I don't think we had the right kind of salt or something, so I used Epsom salt. And well, I'm telling you, I probably had 20 people come on there and tell me that Epsom salt is not actually salt. You know, and I'm thinking, well, anyway, this person the other day leaves a comment, lengthy comment. And you know how people yell at you on the computer, they use a lot of capital letters and way too many exclamation points. Well, that was this comment to me, and basically saying, I cannot believe you call yourself a lawn care professional and you use an Epsom salt, you know, to think so. And I'm thinking, and just went on and on and on. Epsom salt's not salt, it's this, that, and the other. You know, I think there's a quick lesson for this on lawn business. You know, people have much easier time pointing out your flaws than they do your strengths. You know, and that's just going to be the case in your business. You may do a great job 100 times in a row, mess up, and they're going to point out that one time you mess up. So just understand that. These people just want to leave comments to be hateful, and that's fine. And I'll say this, I started to reply to them and defend myself, and I eventually just deleted my reply. I deleted their comment too, because it made me mad when people say that kind of stuff. But anyway, the point is, if you're not a salt expert, and I'm not a salt expert, I don't research salt, okay? I was testing out a internet recipe. If you're not a salt expert, is it not reasonable to believe that you could confuse Epsom salt with salt? I mean, it does have salt in the name, okay? So what I ended up doing was redoing the video with table salt and showing the results there. You know, I don't know if they went and watched that one or not. But anyway, she went on and on and on about it because She said, I can't believe you have deceived 250,000 people because that particular video has like 250,000 views. Well, I can't help it. It's got 250,000 views. I mean, I don't promote that video. It got tons of thumbs down on it, you know, because people are so upset that I use Epsom salt and stuff. Just a little insight on what the kind of comments you get sometimes on YouTube. But for the rest of you, I enjoy hearing from you in the comments section. And I do, if you get a chance, check out that book. If you want it for free, just sign up for the Audible account and you'll use that as your free download. Talk to you soon. Thanks. What books have influenced you? Like I said, I really love the E-Myth book. I think that makes a lot of common practical sense. But I'm looking for more business books to read, or actually listen to, and to give you my thoughts on the book. So if you've got a business book recommendation, let me hear it from you because I'm interested in taking it in.